Hi, Kim Bonifan again from the Vintage Place in Turramurra Plaza. Treasures everywhere, coming in every day. We can help you sell, you can buy from us, or we can track down the history of your family items. We can even melt your old gold and silver. And have we got something special for you today? Well, here's a treasure for you. This is your classic 1936 Wurlitzer pianola. Here's the music, and people would have sat around this in the 1930s, 1940s with no musical expertise like me and played songs like I Just Called to Say I Love You. These are the pianola rolls, and it's a bit like your old computer punch cards really. When we get to the point where it starts playing, a different hole plays a different key. Now we've got, I don't know, 2,000 of these locked away, and if you want to pick out your favourite tunes, I'm sure you can. Here's how to operate the pianola. Obviously, we get the piano keyboard showing, two-step process without too much noise. Then we open this little piece here, which has got all the variations. We turn it onto start over here, and then as our feet build up the pace, you'll see we're coming up now to the start of our tune. Here it comes. I can read the writing and sing it. If you want to sing along with me, you're welcome. I'm going to talk about an Australian icon, an Australian treasure, Pro Hart. You'll know his paintings with the ochre of the outback, and this is a limited edition print, classical, with the shearing, with the shearer, with the doughboy, and everyone else. Let me tell you a little anecdote about how I first met Pro Hart. I was in a busload of trainee diplomats and we went to Broken Hill, and the bus pulled up outside his gallery. Everybody rushed in and said, "Can we meet Pro Hart? Can we meet Pro Hart?" And the lady at the desk said, "He's not here." So they started looking around at the pieces, and I drifted to a corner and saw two lovely prints of the Battle of Trafalgar, I think it was, and I was looking at those, and a door opened and a hand just came like that. So I went to this door, and the man opened the door. It was Pro. He said, "Do you like those?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Shut the door. I don't want people to know I'm here." So I sat down and he signed the prints for me, and then took an envelope off the desk and drew an ant, then ushered me out of the door, and no one knew that Pro was there. Many of you will remember Pro's famous carpet ad where he rolled away in the paint, etc. But he was the sort of man that did many things that none of us knew about. For example, he went to Asia several times to teach people to paint in his style. This is one here. Whoever did it even signed his name at the bottom in a fashion after Pro Hart. Over here is his mining series. This is the BIC man, the big man, the Industrial Council Unionist. And he did a lot of paintings like this, many of which looked a bit scary and many of which you wouldn't know about. Just to make a point about Pro Hart, he's one of the artists in Australia that in some ways were looked down upon, along with people like Charles Billich perhaps, and even Ken Doane, all of whom were considered clever at what they did, but not Dobells or people like that. My argument is a bit different. The world knows Australian art largely through the Pro Harts and the Ken Doanes of this world. So from my point of view, this man was a great Australian artist and a treasure. Well, here's our toy collection. Toys from the early 20th century to early this century. Here's my favourite, an E-Type Jaguar. Used to have a real one once, not anymore. But look at these. These are replicas of dinky toys from the 1950s, remade in 2007, exactly the same as the originals. These have not even come out of their box, but the paint job is better than the old ones we see. I'll tell you, this policeman was made in Singapore, but it's an English policeman. These, you could make them walk down a piece of wood. But let's go down a little bit further. The next level down, not Lego, this is Meccano. This is what we had before Lego. You could make anything you wanted out of these kits, and you bought more pieces as you needed them. Here we have trains that cover the three types of toy train. In the beginning, you only had a steam train where you had to make the boiler work. Then you had a wind-up train. Here, there's a key hole there, so you can wind it up and make it go. And finally, you have the electric trains that work on real power, step down. This is a Hornby, the famous brand. This is the famous German brand, Markland. Now on this shelf, we have something from the 40s and 50s which has disappeared completely for the obvious reason these were made of lead. Beautifully made, but lead poisoning became a danger for children in the 1950s. So you don't see them anymore, but collectors like them. This one's a zoo, this one is more zoo animals, and these ones are the knights from the Crusades. Down here, on this lowest level, you have dolls, all sorts of dolls. This one here is a Japanese doll, which is a bit of a spirit doll, a bit of a scary one. And this one is even a Mao Zedong doll, if you want one. And over there, hidden behind there, is a bride doll. Last but not least, we have this lovely porcelain doll. She needs minor repair. She's lost her head, but it's still there. We can put it back for you. All these toys are available at the Vintage Place and more. Well, that's about it from this week in the Vintage Place in Turramurra. But just to let you know how things are going, we sold that famous coin, the 1813 dump, Australia's first coin. We also sold and delivered recently the dispatch box from Premier Jack Lang. Now don't forget, we buy, we sell, we help you track your treasures here. And just to make it interesting until next time, I'd like you to see if you can guess what this is and tell me if you can. A bit of a curiosity, solid metal from the early part of last century. Do you know what that is? If you do, please tell me.